So this is my testimony. My testimony starts whenever I was growing up. I grew up Catholic. My parents both were Catholic, and so I went to Catholic church, obviously. Saturdays, my dad would take me to church and everything, and I actually became involved in the altar boy service, which, if you guys know about Catholic church or not, they have altar boys that basically help the priest. And I did that for years and everything, but during that time period, I always felt like there was something always missing. Couldn't really put my finger on it. Well, backtracking, my mom, she suffered from kind of chronic daily headaches for years and everything, and she used to listen to a radio show, and she had heard that there was an evangelist who had the gift of healing that was coming to the San Antonio area. I grew up in South Texas. And basically, she was always looking for some sort of cure for her headaches. So she heard about this evangelist who had this gift of healing, and we decided to go to this Holiday Inn to go listen to this evangelist talk about the gift of healing. So while we were there, I was listening to him, and I was like captivated by just the fact that he was talking about a personal relationship with Christ, not just a ritual, which I had been involved with all my life and everything. And it just touched my heart, and just something about the way he presented his relationship with Christ really spoke to my heart. And that day, I accepted Christ as my Savior. My mom didn't get cured or anything like that, ironically, but I got saved basically that day from my religion, if you want to think of it that way. One of the questions I think that Rachel had asked us was, what are some of the trials that we've overcome? Well, there were two trials that really stand out in my mind that I had to overcome. One was my parents' divorce and everything. The other one was my own divorce. My parents, when I was in my early 20s, went through a divorce, and that was just so traumatic for me and everything. That was very difficult for me to process through, to see two people who loved each other to basically separate and go their own ways, people that I looked up to and admired and everything. It was just very hard for me to see that happen to them, and it took a long time for me to cope with that, and probably never really did completely, because I think I carried some of that into the relationship that I had with my first wife and everything. We were married when I was a little bit older, after going through residency, actually just at the end of my residency, and we had two kids. During that time, she had come to me and said, hey, I'm dissatisfied with our relationship, and I want to start dating, which was totally devastating to me. It just started a spiral where our relationship disintegrated and eventually led to divorce. So not only did what I was dealing with, the pain of divorce, of my own divorce, but I was that same wound that happened whenever I was dealing with my parents' divorce was kind of reopened, and it kind of was magnified what I was going through at that time. And so searching for God and saying, God, why is this happening? Why is this so painful and everything? Why is all this happening? And I started searching, for answers to that. And a couple books that I read helped me deal with a lot of it. One was The Sacred Romance by John Eldridge. The other one was a book by Larry Crabb called Shattered Dreams. And in those, I began to find some answers. Obviously, prayer, Bible study, counseling, going through divorce care, all helped me through those. But also getting planted in a church that had a singles ministry. Field Road Baptist Church was one of the churches that I was associated with, not going to directly, but through Ann and everything, I became involved in that singles ministry, and it became kind of the Jesus in the flesh for me as a support, and helped me go through some very difficult times, specifically the divorce and everything like that. So that's how I ended up going through a singles ministry, and actually indirectly becoming involved in our singles ministry here, because I wanted to give back to people who have had pain and suffering in their own life, in hopes that I could help you guys go through some of the difficulties in your own life, because I can feel myself going down that same pathway, and I want to be able to give back to a group of people who have suffered and everything, and gone through some difficult times, whether it's divorce or loss of a spouse or whatever that reason is. two different churches we were attending, and we came here to FBC for a couple of reasons. One, my son was struggling through us getting married. In some ways, we were looking for a strong male youth minister, and Milton Turner was that youth minister was here. And we decided that was one of the reasons why to come here, and the other one was that Ann had known Bruce and Kelly. That was what led us to this church and everything, and that's